Joining us right now is Fox News contributor Lieutenant Colonel Allen West. Lieutenant, good to see you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Good morning, Maria. How are you?
Look, we all know the top countries where terrorism exists. And in addition to the countries that President Trump has pointed to in terms of this ban, you know, Libya, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Yemen, Sudan, Somalia. Afghanistan is a pretty dark place. Pakistan is a pretty dark place. Saudi Arabia, the 19 hijackers from 9/11 were all Saudi. How come those countries weren't on the list, do you think?
Well, I cannot answer that question. I think that that's something that the Trump administration will have to answer. And there is no doubt about it that this executive order, it has come off to be something that it does not seem it was well planned, well thought through, especially with the implementation, because you already have the Trump administration walking back certain parts of it. You know, when you are going to do something as massive as this, you need to make sure that you're coordinated with the State Department, coordinating with the Department of Homeland Security. I disagree with the thing about, you know, telling people too soon you would tip your hand, because it is about messaging. You issued this executive order on a Friday. There were people in the air, and when they land, they found out things were different. So when you go back and you understand that we had Tashfeen Malik, who was part of the San Bernardino terrorist attack, we do need to fix these procedures. When we have individuals that are leaving the United States of America, flying over and participating in operations with ISIS and flying back, we do need to do something about it. But that requires very strict, very precise language that is dealing with the real issue that we have. And unfortunately, we just lost a U.S. Navy SEAL out of Yemen. So we do have these terrorist actions happening in some of these countries.
Yeah, look, that's what Dagan said earlier. This is about execution, Dagan, and I agree with you. But where's the cabinet? Okay, everybody's saying he needed coordination with his State Department, with his Defense Department. Why are the Democrats stalling the confirmation hearings? I mean, if we don't see Rex Tillerson in place after today, he's going to keep doing executive orders. What do you think?
Right. And I think
well, that's the real issue.
Right. I think, and the issue is the Trump administration puts this ban in place on a Friday before Rex Tillerson has been confirmed. And it's
not his fault that they're stalling.
They could have postponed it, though. I mean, the timing was up to the Trump administration. And you have the Secretaries of State and the Secretary of Homeland Security are the ones who can authorize the exemptions to the travel ban, but you have the Secretary of State hadn't been confirmed yet. Colonel, do you think that this can be cleaned up quickly? Because, again, making it clear on Sunday that people with green cards are exempt from this travel ban, how quickly can the Trump administration button this up, so to speak, and get back on track?
Well, they have to do that as soon as possible, because you see the reaction. And the sad thing is that they've lost a moral high ground when it comes to messaging. We're not talking about economic security. We're not talking about the lack of this Senate confirming the people that are necessary for his cabinet. We're talking about something that they took action for Friday. So we've already seen them go back and try to clean it up as far as the green card holders. But if you had had a well thought through process, you would not have to do this right now.
I want to just make something clear to the viewers, because I've talked about the need repeatedly of greater vetting in the refugee program. You have talked about it. With ISIS has access to passport making machines.
That's right.
However, now people who might have been on board with that, now you've got a messaging problem
because of the execution.
Because of the execution of it.
Well, one thing we have to keep in mind is what we don't know. The President of the United States probably has more intelligence and information than we are being told. And I believe this action is based on the totality of that intelligence and information that he had. So that's why I said earlier, we've all got to just calm down and let's see where this is going to go, because I think at the end of the day, we're going to find out that perhaps there was something going on that we do not know now. But soon enough, we're going to find out.
But, Colonel, if something was going on and there was intelligence out there, wouldn't the action have been more targeted than broad like this?
Well, that's the exact point that I'm trying to bring up, is that you have to be precise in your language. Look, I've talked about single military-age Muslim males being able to travel back and forth. I've talked about the fact that we have to tighten up our processes and procedures for people that are able to leave this country and fly over to Syria, Iraq, or wherever and participate in terrorist actions and come back. We know that we had an issue with Tashfeen Malik, who was able to come in this country and lie about her address. So those are very specific things that we need to talk about, and not this big ham-handed meat cleaver approach, which now they find themselves trying to fight against.
Kirsten, how do you see it?
You know, it's really difficult because the Republican Party is very fractured over their response to this, right? Because Congress feels, and that's something that is not really being talked about, is that Congress feels like they were sidestepped, and actually immigration enforcement and immigration policy really should be in the hands of Congress. So I think what might be a better strategy going forward to try to clean up some of this PR mess that Donald Trump and the administration is in is to really say, going forward, we are going to include Congress, we're going to include Senators John McCain and Lindsey Graham, who have been very vocal and outspoken about their,
They've been against him from the get-go.
Right, but he's
Kristen,
got
isn't
to start mending those bridges and staying instead if he's going to get anything passed in the next 4 years.
The Congress is so dysfunctional. They can't even get their act together on the most simplest of things. So,
Well, I
so
think
we
give
have
this
a
new
president
Congress
who,
a chance.
Senator
because, right,
Schumer
Give him a
started
chance
crying.
or
He
they
was
may
crying
use.
when he was at
Yeah,
that.
but
Well, he's got majorities in
See
both
Schumer's
houses.
crocodile tears.
Yeah, I thought that was not just a bit much. That was a lot
Right,
much.
because
One
two
step beyond,
Democrats,
Senator, really.
Nancy
I mean, come
Pelosi
on.
and Chuck Schumer, both made the comment about the Statue of Liberty crying, right? I mean, then you know it's planned.
Yeah, is he going to cry over all those people who were murdered at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando? Did we see him shed tears over that? Or all the people murdered in San Bernardino?
Never saw him shed a tear
Are you
before.
weeping over that? But you're weeping over people who were. I don't want to diminish what happened.
No, but he had the waterworks
weekend,
going. He had the waterworks going. Look, what about finalizing the rest of President Trump's cabinet? I mean, look, I know I'm hitting on this a lot this morning, but it's really a disgrace, Colonel. A former ExxonMobil CEO Rex Tillerson is going to be facing the entire Senate today. He's looking for confirmation to become the next Secretary of State. Do you believe the Senate will confirm Tillerson today?
Yeah, I do believe that the Senate will confirm Tillerson, but there's another very important aspect of this that no one is talking about, and that's the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. And we had the Senate say that they needed to go back and review his papers even more. Look, Jeff Sessions has been in the Senate for I don't know how long, but everyone knows him there.
Right.
He's been on the Senate Judiciary Committee. So what more papers do they need to review to know about Jeff Sessions? This is this slow roll that is going on, and that should be the message that the Trump administration should be talking about, is that we need these key people in position. My Secretary of State, my Attorney General, Department of Homeland Security, along with my Secretary of Defense, to make sure that we're doing the things that are necessary to protect the American people, as well as my economic scene.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know, they want to stall him from implementing any of the policies that he's promised, and so they're stalling and not confirming these guys. So what does President Trump do? He'll write the executive order. Surprise, surprise. I mean, that's what he's going to continue to do.
Maria, this is going to be a 4-year battle. They can't stomach the fact that they lost. This is what it boils down to, a 4-year battle.
Now, we will leave it there. Lieutenant Colonel Allen West, good to see you, sir.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much for weighing in. Coming up, the